boy, do we have a treat for you. An exciting half hour.
The show is called Rocktopia, and it's a revolutionary performance celebrating the fusion of classical music with classic rock. And of course, here to explain more is Barry Gable. He knows about music, right? From Live
He knows a
Nation.
thing or two about music.
I don't know. I might like a few things here or there, but this is really, like it said, these guys said, it's a revolutionary performance where they actually combine classic, like stuff from Beethoven, Mussorgsky, Tchaikovsky, classical music with the power of classic rock and the passion of opera to really mesh these songs together that have really once in a lifetime kind of performances. And when people see this, they will be blown away by it.
I mean, what a neat concept to combine all these genres. And I think then it encapsulates, it brings in all of these different age groups into one, basically.
You know, this is a new thing right now. This has been going on where there's meshing of musical genres. You know, you'll have hip hop playing with pop. You'll have all the sampling going on. So this is, while it's a newer concept, this kind of thing, as I like to say, the younger teenagers and the young music lovers have been doing it, but this is the first time that this is really combining an older audience. There's some really phenomenal performers that are involved in this thing, and some of them have ties to Northeast Ohio. The conductor and co-creator, Randall Fleischer, who you're seeing right here, he married a girl from Beechwood, and he's also one of the guest conductors at the Youngstown Symphony.
Wow, so it's a one-time thing that you have to jump on.
That's correct.
Thursday, April 13th, 7:30 p.m., State Theater at Playhouse Square. Very easy to get tickets, too. Just dial the number on your screen there, go to playhousesquare.org, and snap up some of those tickets.
Phenomenal performers. My good friend Rob Evan will be performing with them, and Northeast Ohio fans of Trans-Siberian Orchestra will know Rob, as he's been performing with them from day one. Chloe Lowry, also from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, as one of the lead singers. She's going to be performing with them. We have people from the winners of The Voice, or contestants from The Voice, that were there season 6, season 2, and just some incredible Mairead Nesbitt, who has traveled all over the world with Celtic women. She's the guest violinist that'll be appearing with the show as well.
Just think how this is going to fill up the State Theater. I mean, there's a lot going on inside that building, so it's going to almost be like a small room performance.
It's amazing, and backed by the incredible talented kids from the Contemporary Youth Orchestra as well. So they'll be sitting side by side with some of the phenomenal musicians that play professionally in Northeast Ohio.
Well, I say let's take a closer
Let's take a look
right?
at this, okay?
You know, I grew up on rock and roll.
That's my moment.
Rocktopia is me. It's who I am as an artist. It really is. I mean, the whole inspiration of this project goes back to my childhood, probably growing up with Styx and Queen and The Who and Pink Floyd and Beethoven and Mozart and Stravinsky.
Rocktopia is a brand new show combining the classical world and the classic rock world. So all of the songs are a fusion of famous opera songs or classical songs mixed with your favorite classic rock songs. So it's really cool.
Sometimes, you know, people talk about this kind of crossover of different genres of music. I actually would call it more classical fusion because, you know, it's basically classical music like the Beethoven 7th Symphony, and then it kind of like just molds into, you know, a Freddie Mercury tune.
It's only perfect that they're mixed together in this very seamless string of composition, which our composer, Randall Craig Fleischer, wrote.
This project brings all of those magical journeys that I've ever been on together into one special concert.
So to me, Rocktopia it's a homogenization of classic rock songs from Led Zeppelin, from U2, from Pink Floyd, I mean, bands that I grew up on, the Beatles, and merging it with some really absolutely epically beautiful classical music.
If they were alive today, Mozart or Handel or Puccini, they would be taking advantage of the technology of today, of how we listen to music differently today. So I think opera and classical music needs to keep up with the times and be renovated and be listened in a different way.
When these pieces were written, they had that power in mind, you know, and now that we can take them to a different place rhythmically, you know, the Zeppelin place, it just completely works. So I think he was very smart in knowing that if he hired the right band, they would take what he had in his head and make it actually, you know, sound the way he had it in his head. And the same thing with, you know, all the pieces. They lend themselves to a band digging deep and really, you know, making it sound like a rock band playing classical music.
I think during the time of like Vivaldi or Paganini, these guys were the rock stars of their world. You know, it was kind of like in the 1700s. I mean, these guys would go around, you know, performing, especially Paganini. He probably played in this concert hall plenty of times in the 1800s. You know, he was one of the greatest violinists of all time, but he was the rock musician and didn't have, you know, this cool, you know, new rock music right now like we do today. And so in that time, they were these performers that were kind of like this, you know, this extraterrestrial kind of world that people didn't even know of until they saw one of these concerts, and then they immediately, you know, began to be hooked, kind of like today with pop music, with rock music. But I think it's kind of like something where we're kind of bring back into this genre of classical meets fusion with rock and roll music.
People talk about, you know, music has changed so much over the years. It hasn't. The essence of music remains exactly the same. It is the human experience in sound. It's us in sound. And whether it's a classical piece or classic rock song, there's some musical hook that grabs your heart. People talk about that more in pop music, the hook. It's true in classical music. Da-da-da-da. There's your hook. There's that little kernel that Beethoven uses to build that incredible symphony.
We created Rocktopia, which, at least for the filming, is the Budapest Philharmonic, which is a 65-piece orchestra, a fairly large choir, an American legitimate rock band, and 6 what we think are some of the best singers in America.
In my wildest dreams, I've never imagined such a brilliant band and such a brilliant group of singers singing this material. It's like I've died and gone to heaven.
Everybody will find different moments. We're not manipulating the audience at all. I think you'll be touched by something that was in your life that you remember.
One of the things that really attracted me to Rocktopia in the first place was because of its honesty of music. You know, we make no apologies for making this incredibly authentic rock and roll situation merged with really, for lack of a better expression, some really highbrow, intelligent classical music.
I feel like the bones of this show is the music, and it's solid. But we wanted to add another level. And so there's nostalgia on the video content. There's historical things. There are humans that have walked this earth with us, that have made everlasting imprints in life.
We tell a story between the music and the video of the human condition from birth to adolescence to rebellion to oppression to death, and it's sort of the classic epic tale of the human condition. And we think the way we've meshed the music together, I think we tell a pretty interesting story.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Well, just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere.
Come on, boys.
Can't get with these walls because they don't exist in my mind, in my heart. I'm not a this or a that. I'm an American musician, and music, great music that moves me, I'm all about that, whatever it is. Yeah, primarily I'm a classical guy, but Rocktopia is about absolutely, you know, blowing those walls away.
It works so well that I'm so happy to revisit it. You know, it's great to be able to play this stuff from a standpoint as a guitar player instead of trying to play it, you know, as a guitar player playing in a classical world. They want me to adapt it to my own style, which they're amazing melodies, and they're, you know, stuff that Zeppelin could have and did right at a certain point in their career.
We have to keep that bar high. You know, if we are not really hitting that A mark, we're missing a really opportunity to do something really groundbreaking.
As long as you're doing something at the very, very top level, and you know you're surrounded by really talented people as well, you could do anything you want. And I think, you know, especially with this production of Rocktopia, everyone is at such a high level that they keep on, you know, raising the game. And it's just really a joy for me as kind of like an outsider into this new world to make music and collaborate with such talented people.
I create modern garments handcrafted from antique textiles. And I've designed and styled all of the costumes for Rocktopia. Me as a fashion designer and my collection pieces, and really fell in love with the whole philosophy of my work, and I fell in love with the project of Rocktopia because it connected the old and the new and bringing it into a brand new philosophy and idea that has never been seen before. The neck piece is constructed from jet beads from the 1800s. A lot of different antique laces that are ivory, and you can kind of see the organic drape that occurs here from these laces that are from the early 1920s, and then you have a way earlier lace that's from around the early 1800s.
For the performance for Rocktopia, I'm actually going to be using a pretty modern maker known as Parison. He was a worker in the United States. And this violin was Eugene Fedor's main violin, and he actually went around saying it was his Guarnerius del Gesù made in the 1740s, but it wasn't. It's a phenomenal copy of one of the great del Gesus.
This is my first time in the Hungarian State Opera House, and it's absolutely spectacular.
I think what makes this venue, the State Opera House, the most ideal location for this is because, A, the history of this building merged with the history of amazing classical songs and historically epic rock and roll. There isn't a better venue that this should be performed at.
People are lovely. The food is amazing. I plan on going to some of the baths. I hear that's the thing to do. Actually, my neighbor is she's very fond of Budapest, and she says it's one of the most magical cities, so I'm excited to kind of explore more.
Smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night, and it goes on and on and on and on. Strangers wait here. Go up and tell them
That's really never been done in this way before.
This whole show is about joy and music and bringing a lot of different genres and audiences and ages together. So it really is my dream, and I know that I think I have to talk myself down from being too emotional with this show because it's so exciting.
I'm very happy and proud to be part of it.
That little miracle that grabs your attention and moves you. I mean, that's what music is. It's our humanity. It's the essence of humanity in sound.
don't stop believing. Come on. Hold on to that feeling, yeah. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street lights, people. Don't stop. Thank you for the applause. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Now that you've had a sneak peek of the incredible show Rocktopia, How do you get tickets?
Well, Barry Gable joining us once again from Live Nation with the details. I'm assuming people are going to want to jump on these tickets fast.
Absolutely. They're on sale now. You can get these tickets at the Playhouse Square box office. You can go to their website at playhousesquare.org and purchase the tickets. 241-6000. The tickets are really selling very well. They've been on sale since actually December. So really looking forward. You know, they mentioned that these classical musicians were like the rock stars of their day.
Absolutely.
And had they had these tools and the kind of things that the current musicians have, it
Taking
would
over the
be
world.
amazing. And so
Well, it's going to be amazing.
it'll be phenomenal performance. We look forward to seeing all of Northeast Ohio out there enjoying this once-in-a-lifetime show.
Is that your arm?
That's my arm. Just got it tattooed over the holiday.
It looks very good.
It's just such a great poster to really showcase what this show is all about. Some of those singers, I mean, just watching that are incredible.
Well, they're all, you know, world-class singers. Rob Evans been on Broadway with Jekyll and Hyde. Of course, Chloe Lowry's been singing since she's 9 years old on Disney Records. Is featured in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra Tour. Kimberly Nicole's been was on The Voice, and of course Troy Vincent,
Just
Tony
see it.
Vincent.
You gotta watch it.
Phenomenal.
So long.
Thank you.